Hey everyone, welcome back to Mindful Mobility. We'll begin again with a squat, walk out into our plank. We're going to do 2 repetitions here, keeping the hips nice and tight, driving the toes into the floor, keeping that chest up at the top, and as you go down and walking out using all of the hands, keeping the fingers nice and spread and flowing through this movement once more. For the 3rd repetition, again into your squat, hips hinge, come up, walk into your plank, break from the hips, flick the hair at the top, lift that chest, and bring that extension through the spine, warming up the core and bringing some love and mobility to that spine. Holding the plank once more, driving the toes, the hands, the heels of the hands into the floor. Easy breaths down into all fours. We're going to go into a quadruped here, or your bear crawl plank. Again, neutralize the pelvis with the shoulders, head relaxed, fingers, toes driven into the ground, creating as much tension here as we possibly can. Dropping the knees onto the ground, left arm reaches out, right leg pushes back like a string on the toe pulling you backwards, and a string on your hand pulling you forward. Little to no movement in the spine here. It's all coming from the joints, both ball and socket, the hip and the shoulder. Bring your right knee up to meet your right elbow into your half world's greatest. Reaching that arm up towards the ceiling. We're going to do 3 repetitions here. Breathing in on the way up. Exhale on the way down. That back toe is driven into the floor here again. Once more, keeping that tension. Flowing with the movements. Nice and relaxed. Bring that leg back. We'll swap it over. Lifting that left leg up. Make sure we have the tension. Driving the toes into the ground. Fingers into the floor, reaching up, opening that chest and bringing some thoracic rotation into the middle of the spine. Nice and easy start, guys, taking your time, breathing and always trying to stay relaxed with the movements. We're going to bring your left leg back, drive the toe into the floor and then lift the heel up into the ceiling. Keeping the spine nice and long here again, glutes fully engaged, dropping the leg down, bringing the opposite leg back, drive the toe into the floor and then lifting the heel up. If you want to, you can push the toe away from the body here also into dorsal or plantar flexion. And feel 2 different types of movements. Okay, into your full world's greatest, we'll go with the left leg up to meet first. And then we know that inside hand is going to reach up towards the ceiling. Nice and long in that back knee, driving the back toe and front toe into the floor. With the same amount of tension, dropping that arm down. And then we're going to lift that outside hand up and slowly back down again. Once again, nice and easy, nice little bounce there. It's okay, you don't need to. And here we go again, right leg up, right arm towards the ceiling, left hand is stability, left leg is creating stability here, knee fully locked out. And again, we just push the right arm into the right knee as we come up. Should be a little bit off balance here, but just focus and take control. Once more into your quadruped plank. This time we're going to come up into a 1 arm hold to really activate that tummy and all the joints that are taking the brunt of this movement here, or lack of movement is isometric. So driving the toes into the floor, fingers nice and wide, no movement in the hips or the spine. If the shoulder is too hard to reach for right now, just go for the elbow. If that's too hard, then just hold the quadruped plank. I'm just going to alternate nice and slowly, nice and relaxed, breathing in as we come up and touch the shoulder, holding that breath and exhaling as we come back down. We're going to come into our kick throughs. Just starting off, we're going to bring the hip to the floor, that back leg goes from toe to heel, the knee faces out to the side, and you're just going to bring your knee to the ground and your head is going to follow whatever way the knee is going. And we're going to go into our full kick through here, keeping the tension with the floor with your back foot and your arms, and you're just going to slide that leg all the way out to the side, get it all the way onto the ground. The toe is pointing up towards the ceiling, so you can see the foot is fully activated here all the way through. And then we're just going to bring the other leg through here, and we're going to get nice and long and get ready to go into some glute bridges. We breathe in on the way up, start from the lower part of the spine, curl the spine up, toe driven into the floor, heel driven into the floor, arms up towards the ceiling, knuckles tight. We drop down and we lift back up for 1 repetition. Now the toes come off the ground, the heels are driven down, creating more tension through the front of the leg. We slowly drop down, bring the heels a little bit closer for this next one. We lift up, toes into the floor, heels off the ground, more of the hamstring into that lower back, and especially firing those glutes as best we can. We slowly roll back down. We're going to grab our block, we're going to put it between our knees, and we're going to go for our bridges here, locking the adductor into place, creating stability in the pelvis by doing so. And we're going to lock that right leg out, hinge from the knee, nowhere else, just keep the pelvis high, hips up, upper back driven into the floor. We slowly drop down, swap it over, drive the toe away from the body, keep that leg nice and long. Good work. Slowly up on the opposite side, easy breaths dropping down, and we'll swap it over all the time, keeping the hips high here. Easy breaths, again, nice and relaxed. We slowly bring the pelvis down, roll from the upper, middle and lower spine to the floor. Keeping the lower back on the ground here, we're going to squeeze that block together with the knees, and then we're going to slowly bring those heels apart. Bring them together, squeeze the block, getting those small little muscles out to the side of the glutes. Firing and bring the heels together, and once more we push out against the side. If you don't have a block, a book, 2 books, just something thick, a cushion will also work. Creating that tension, arms down into the floor, lower back flat, and we are really trying to push out as we drive the knees into the block, contracting those adductors and creating stability in the pelvis. We'll lift up into our glute bridge once more, and that right leg will come out. This time we're going to point the toe up towards the ceiling, keeping it nice and high, breathing. 10 seconds here, swapping it over, keep the pelvis high, don't drop it down. Again, the toe is pointed up towards the ceiling for this repetition also. Let's hold. And when we're done, we hinge from the knee and bring it down, and we can sit back up. Nice stuff. Now we're just moving into opening up these hips. Hug the block, the cushion or the book, drive the heels into the floor, and try to move as controlled as possible as we move from our starting position into our 90s on left and right side, trying to keep the spine nice and tall here, and all the movement is coming from the pelvis. So we're going to go into our first 90 here now. Driving the knees into the floor, we're going to keep the chest nice and big, spine long and erect from crown to tail. We're going to slowly just drop down over that knee, keep it nice and long. If you can go towards the floor here without compromising the upper spine, do, and hinge from the hips as you drive the knees into the floor. Just dropping the block by your side, lifting the elbow up, engaging the pelvis there. As you can see, that's the initiator of the movement, and you're reaching across the body. The pelvis will relax, the shoulders will stay engaged. Engage that pelvis, reach across the body. Exhaling as we come back. We breathe in as we lock into that pelvis and reach across the body. Nice stuff. We'll come back to the front. Driving the toes into the floor, we're going to lift the front knee off the ground if we can, getting onto the sole of the foot. Breathing in on the way up. We're going to put our hand onto the block, leave the leg win here, push into the hand as hard as you can. Push the hand into the knee and we'll drop down, just creating some tension, bringing some blood into the front and inside of the leg. We're going to hover the leg off the ground like a string on the toe. We reach out past the book or the block, whichever is there. Hands into the ground, and we're just going to explore this position now with the hamstring and the calf fully locked out together. Holding onto the leg, just twisting around to the side, keeping that chest nice and big. And now we're just going to come into a nice bridge here also. Head back, lift through the pelvis. Going to reach over that leg as well. You can get to the knee or to the foot. Just make sure your hands are in the same position and you're not reaching further with one hand more than the other. We're going to lift it up, hover it up, and slowly back down. Easy breaths. Yep. Just going to bring it back in. I'm going to bring the block over to the side, and we'll show you the side profile here now too. So with the block in line with the knee, same what we're doing to the front, driving the foot into the floor, lifting the knee off the ground, bringing that knee to the wall behind you. Nice and relaxed as you lift up. Try to always look forward. I'd have it looking back, that's okay too. Just always remember that the spine wants to stay straight and long. Now we're going to use the block as a guide to bring your foot, and now we're just going to bring some rotation through the joint. As you can see there, I can make the movement a little bit tighter and more restrictive by just bringing the block back a little bit further. We're going to do a couple of reps here. Lean forward, and let's really rotate through the hip, and now we're just going to push out to the side, toes pointing up, driving the front knee leg into the floor. Keep the foot active, and now we just rotate, twist, and bring that knee to the ground. We'll do one more. Let's breathe in. Hover that leg off the ground, keep the foot off the floor, push out to the side, keeping the chest big, arms engaged, and we will rotate it back. Chest big, easy breaths into the belly from the nose. Let's do a little crossover, hover off the ground, reach out, keep the foot engaged, squeeze the hands. Left leg comes down, right leg and goes back. Just watch your block. Again, we will hold on to it and we will begin our 90-90s now with our left leg active. And keeping the spine nice and long. Breathe in on the way down. From crown to tail, erect and tall. And hinge in from the hips. Here we go for a front profile to see what it's like. Again, keeping the shoulders engaged and neutralizing the pelvis, squeezing it as the initiator of the movement as we reach out to the side. I have my hand in the block here just in case you need it. You might need that extra height, or maybe not. There we go. And slowly bringing it back in. Hands will come down. Always drive the hands into the floor. Tension is important when it comes to these type of movements. Leg up, drive the foot into the floor, knee comes off the ground, trying to get flat onto the foot. Hand pushed into the knee, creating some tension here. Drive the knee into the hand into the leg, and we'll slowly drop down. Just gonna explore the position here, a little bit tight on this side. Reach back to get the block, stay in your 90-90. I'm going to do some lift off and a hover out. Again, the string onto the toe. It's being pulled out in front of you. Once you're here, explore the position. Exaggerate it like so if you have to. Hands into the floor, grab the leg, just reach back, some rotation. Hands back behind, into a big bridge. Squeeze those glutes. Engage that lower back. Drive the front of the heel into the floor. And here we go. Lift off, hover, and slowly bring it back in. A little bit of shake in the leg here, but how bad? And again, to the side profile. Any cramping or pressure that you feel in your leg, just breathe into it, no fear. Don't leave the sensation rule the mind over the movement. If there's any burning sensation or cramping, just come out of the position, breathe. It's just highlighting the weakness in the area. Breathe in. To make it a little bit harder, you can take your hands apart, pushing out to the side, There you go. Bring the leg back. You want to lift off. Ensure the glute and the hip are through. Hover out, push out to the side. Use your hands as much as you need it. One side of your body is always going to be stronger, looser, more aware than the other. We just want to be aware of that also. So we're just going to move over and back here now. So a little bit of a flow, hip dominant flow into a bit of a hollow hold. But once you're focusing just on the joints here, the hold from the core should be pretty simple. You can use your hands, by all means do. All the progressions here are observational, from getting the spine longer to just feeling a little bit more comfortable, just having that little bit more control. So if you have to drop your hands or use your hands whenever you need it, do so. Be aware of it. Just when we come back to it, or when you start to do it a little bit more on your own, you just set yourself by not putting the hands onto the ground. There you go. Keeping a nice long L sit. I'm going to hold this. Breathe, 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 breathe. Drive the toes away. Keep the back engaged, and we will roll down onto the floor.
3.
Okay. Neutralize the pelvis here. I'm going to go into our lift offs for our lower abdominals, but for here it's going to be for all our abs. So engaging the spine. As you can see, I've rounded myself, but the neck does not move. We're going to go into a dead bug. As much tension in the body here now as possible. Again, core and lower back are engaged. Lower back is pressing to the floor. Slow movement through the joints. The shoulder and the hip work together here. Hovering that leg off the floor. And easy breaths. We slowly bring it back in. 2 legs together. Hold it out. And hold. No movement in the spine. We bring it back in. Keep the toes engaged. This time we'll drop them down with the feet pressing up towards the ceiling. One more time. Long leg back up. I'm just going to reach our hands towards our feet, rounding the spine, and then we slowly drop back down onto the ground. Again, removing the arch from the lower back, we lift up. The heel of the head and the heel of the feet are going to lift off the ground at the same time and touch the floor at the same time. We shut off when we touch the ground. We breathe in, we lift up, we look through the legs. The head and the feet lift off at the same time, touch the floor at the same time. Relax when you shut off. Breathe in, engage, lift up, drive the hands into the ground. Head looking between the legs. And once again, we slowly drop back down, really slow here, concise, controlled movements. We breathe in, we lift up, 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 slow, slow, and slowly back down. Your hands can be off the floor here as well if you wanted to beat it a little bit harder. You need to earn that control. We breathe in, we lift up. I'll just show you here. I'll take my hands off, reaching through my legs. Fully active. Intention is in the movement. And we will slowly drop back down once more. And we're just going to sit up, take a little bit of a rest. And we will work through these quads and try to bring some blood and love into the knees. Neutralize the pelvis once more like we're on a bridge. And we're just going to drop back, try not to arch the spine. So I have one hand on my lower back, one on my chest here, so I can feel the neutral portion of my pelvis, keeping it straight and long. There we go. Once I feel comfortable, I'll drop back. Toes fully engaged and hinging from the knees here. Drive those toes into the floor. Breathe in on the way down. Keep in control. Don't lead with the shoulders or the hips. Hold, dropping down, only as far as you can go comfortably for yourself today. Okay, we'll drop the heels into the ground, or relax the heels now. I'm going to drop all the way back. Stay nice and long here in the arms for as long as you can. If you can, slowly get further and further towards the floor. It's okay to be arching the spine here, but relax that body. Everything needs to be relaxed. You might feel a burn sensation through your ankles. That is okay. And we're just going to slowly lift back up out of it. Use your hands if you need, or use those quads to lift you back out. Back into our quadruped, and we're going to push out into a plank and into your world's greatest, driving your right leg into the floor, all the tension pushing through the mid of the foot. Lift that back leg off the ground and go into your RDL. From your RDL single leg work, we're going to come up, raising into that sprinter stance, arm out, keeping the tension through the body. Bring the leg back into your skater squat, bring the knee towards the ground, push the hips back, stretch that hamstring, keep the heel pressed into the floor, round that back, stretching from the lower portion of the spine. I'm trying to bring the head to the knee once more. Drive the toe into the floor, push forward, neutralize the pelvis into that hip flexor, stretch, pushing the pelvis into the heel, into the front of the leg. Keeping that spine nice and long and straight, chest up, and we lock out the full leg by driving the toes into the floor. Noticing how the different positions of the feet are helping each other out. We'll swap it over, drive that left leg into the floor, into your world's greatest, all the pressure into that left leg, hover off the ground, into that RDL, lifting that leg, right leg now up towards the ceiling, knee high, toe engaged. Reach back into your skater squat, drop the toe onto the floor, drop down. There we go. Nice little flow here for the hips. Lower region of the body, around from the spine. Push the toe onto the floor. Neutralize the pelvis, knee over the toe. Nice and long in that back leg, driving that back toe onto the floor. From when we come up off the ground here in a moment. Let's bring the right leg up into your squat. And we are just going to walk back into a crab. And from our crab, neutralize the pelvis, as you can see there, into your tabletop plank or reverse plank. Head up towards the ceiling, keep it nice and long. We drop back into the shoulders, keeping the legs nice and straight. Driving the toes into the floor, back up into your reverse plank. And from here, we're just going to relax the shoulders, strong through the wrists, keep the glutes off the ground. And we're just going to see if we can flow through this position. Lifting up, lifting up, lifting up, neutralizing the spine. This may be a hard one, so take your time. Tension through the wrists, through the heels. Slowly back down. And once we're here, we will shut off. We'll bring one leg in nice and tight to the body. And we're going to lift one leg off the floor, push the toe away, and we are going to bring some circles. 1, 2, really slow. 3, and 4. Slowly down, swap it over. Spine nice and big and long, lift that leg up as high off the ground as you can and begin from there. 1, 2, 3, 4, and we will drop it down. This time I'm going to stretch out the hamstrings, push the hamstring into the hand, and we're going to roll those ankles really slowly. Nice and relaxed now as we're slowing the body down. Again, all the breathing is coming through our nose, out our nose, breathing into the diaphragm. We are exploring and expanding the patterns of our bodies, increasing our ranges of motion, our mobility, bringing some love and attention back to our body. Easy breaths. Just flag the leg over. Stretching the piriformis, top of the glute. You just drop down onto the ground here. Find you get a nice little stretch from it. You see it from this side a little bit better. You do not have to. As you can see, I just guide my knee onto the ground and I drive that top heel into the ankle. Roll it back over. Bring the knees into the chest, and if we can, we'll just roll the legs back behind us, I try to keep them off the ground here, roll the knees in, and we're just going to rotate the hips left and right of the head. Bringing some rotation into the body. If you find any pressure in the lower back here now, just hold the position. Get used to being in a pose like this first. But nice and relaxed. Thanks, guys. To finish off, a bit of box breathing. The block will go onto your belly. 4 seconds of an inhale. The block will rise. 4 seconds of a hold. The block will stay pushed up. 4 seconds of an exhale. The block will drop down. 4 seconds of a hold without any air. And stay doing this for as long as you would like. Enjoy. Thank you very much, guys.